And that's why I found your idea of, for example, having recordings of people's conversations interesting, because that's user information that you own. The recording application that you
user-generated content.
Yeah. Well, it's your idea to record all the conversations and make them searchable, so that all your telephone conversations you have them stored. It's basically user-generated content that you can make accessible, because you have the pipe and you have the user data, and that's a kind of application that you can do as a carrier because nobody else can. And so these are the kind of value-added services that I think a carrier should develop, whereas trying to be another Yahoo or another Google, I think, or another YouTube maybe, doesn't make any sense at all.
Well, the thing is that they already own one user identity, right? If you're a simple switch voice provider or mobile voice provider, you already own a user identity, which is a number, a telephone number. You already own it, right? And it's very well known by many people that they can reach that person using that number. Now, what you do if you prove that, if you upgrade that to an IMS service, that number becomes one alias of the user, right? But then you can give the user other aliases, and more specifically a URI, right? Then it becomes somebody at some domain, and one of the aliases of that main alias is a phone number, right? And then you can leverage on that, and then you can then provide email, instant messaging, many other things. So there is a way for the operators to get into that business. If they visualize that, they can do it, and if they are able to build on top of that, right, and to have the vision.
Even for example, okay, you start with the one identity, the phone number, and then you build on top of it in the MSS. You change it to a SIP URI.
Well, it's a URI. Okay. Initially, it's a URI. Right.
So let me consider this scenario. Let's say now Telcel implement their IMS, for example, and they start announcing to their subscriber, hey, now you can have your email address that will be used as a SIP URI. Now you have, remember, your identity now is Raka@Telcel.
You already have that, right?
And then you start. Then with that you will start, the operator, the Telcel will start offering email services.
They already do.
Chat services. I mean, I don't see how it's
it's
going to be realized.
The URI is again your identity, right? And then it can be a SIP URI for SIP contacting purposes, or it can be, so a URI is somebody at domain, right? And then if you put before that string a SIP column somebody, then it's a SIP URI. And if you put tel column the URI, it's a tel URI. And if you put SMTP column the same identity, it's for email, right? So you see, you just specify what service you want, or that identity, it will be useful for what service, right? A SIP URI is for SIP contacting purposes, because SIP is just that, puts A and B in contact, right? And or it can be a SMTP for mail, or for other protocols. So the thing is, you have this central identity, which is your URI. It doesn't matter if it is SIP or TEL or SMTP, right? It's your identity.
But the question then does become, and this has been an issue on the internet as well, with people with like Tripod. I think they at certain points said that your home pages are ours.
What Tripod?
They offered 3 home pages, so you could host posts, your homepage.
Is it that, right?
Yeah, I think it's old. But there was a conflict at a certain point when they said, like, your content is ours. Because you didn't read the small print in the contract. Everything that you upload to our service is ours. It's our content. We own it. And this becomes an issue with identity as well, maybe. And this is abstract, but if you do this, if you make this concrete, it's, for example, they have this beautiful user database, right? But they cannot publish it. They cannot sell it that easily, right. Because your phone number is your private information. If you can say, like, I don't want to be published in the phone book, and you won't. It's your phone number, and this once again becomes an issue with okay, you have this beautiful unified ID in the network, but you cannot use it as much as you would like, because obviously the big advantage is, like, hey, I want to talk to Juanito Perez, but and you have the capability to bring this person into contact with Juanito Perez, but Juanito Perez doesn't want that. So that's, I mean, it's beautiful, this user database, but it has its restrictions as well.
Yes.
So I'm not, because I was thinking about, like, wow, you have this beautiful user database, and you could be selling it to companies to give access to people.
What I mentioned, it's just a...
Although in iOS that's already thought of. It's like you have these public service identities, and you have these private service identities. Okay. So within the IMS idea, there is the idea that there is public services that are available to everyone. Like if you want to call 01800 Banamex, right? That's a public identity, which is public to everybody. But you still have private identities which are not published for everyone to know. So in other words, there is the general public that can use these public services, right? But the identities of the common people are not published. So there is this distinction between those two things.
And there's even more sophisticated models in things like Facebook, for example, where you can set up different levels of privacy. And for example, you can see what your friends are publishing, and sometimes you can you allow friends to see your friends, or you don't. There's all sorts of gray areas which might be interesting to explore in this context as well, because it's that's what they are about. They're social sites, right? And the interesting part about this user database is what do people do? They talk to each other, or they share information with each other. So it's about social interaction. So maybe you need something a little bit more sophisticated than just public, private.